Kiss 92.5 studios in Toronto, Canada.
Ladies and gentlemen,
This is Roz and Mocha.
it's Roz and Mocha. What's going on?
Hey guys, this is Bruno Mars.
This is Selena Gomez.
Chainsmokers.
Lady Gaga.
Calvin Harris.
Celestia Cara.
This is Ed Sheeran.
You're listening to my boys Roz and Mocha.
Roz and Mocha.
My boys Roz and Mocha.
The Roz and Mocha Show.
Between Roz and Mocha, who is your favorite?
Mocha. You guys are so funny, man.
Congratulations, Lisa! Wow!
You just won $1,000.
It's amazing. Y'all just made my entire morning. Keep it up.
You guys are awesome, man. This is the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Hey, Mocha.
Yes.
You ready?
Yes.
Let's do the news.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
News break.
Game 7 tonight. Yes, I do. Let me give it to you right now. Don't even have to wait.
Sorry.
Come on, cheesecake.
Hit him with it.
Game 7 tonight, Edmonton, Florida. Florida wins. It's their very first. I don't know why everybody's like, oh, Canada's team, Edmonton, go. The drought, the drought.
Go Edmonton.
Like, what about the idea that the Florida Panthers could win their very first cup
Very
ever?
first.
Like,
Go
nobody
Panthers.
cares about that franchise.
Yeah, come on.
Never won a cup. Like, what about the love for that, right?
Yeah,
Just saying.
jerseys. What are you wearing today?
What do you mean? I'm just wearing stuff today. Why?
Easy to take off?
Easy to take off.
Uh-huh.
Why?
Because of what you said last week.
No, I can't I can't go tits out today.
Why not?
No, because I had to do a picture over the weekend,
Yeah?
and I trimmed because I was wearing an open collared shirt, and I wound up trimming my chest hair down into a V instead of just trimming the whole thing, so it looks stupid.
So it looks like
a
you
bunch
got
of excuses.
So it looks like you have a hairy.
It's not
V-neck?
good. Yeah, it's
Oh,
not.
on a razor?
No, it looks like like sometimes when you see those real weirdos on social media who shave their chest hair into a bikini top.
Yeah.
That's what I sort of look like.
Oh, wow.
Because
Can
if
we
we go back to last week, right? What you were saying about Game 6.
Show my boobs.
It's crazy. You should.
That's all it takes. Huh?
Yeah.
That's all it takes, Shemmy.
You'll go viral. I promise.
Yeah. Don't worry
You will
about it.
absolutely go viral.
If they win Friday, I'm showing my boobs. I'm with
you.
All right.
Did Shem just say I'm with you?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm with you as in I'm with you for showing your boobs. Didn't say I was going to show mine.
You didn't clarify.
Whip him out, cheesecake.
Ain't nobody wants to
with
see
the
that.
cheesecake. Yeah,
no,
come on.
No,
Come on.
no,
Cheesecake, just do it.
No. I am management, guys. I
you
can't
have-
be setting a bad
You got
example.
chest hair that.
You could probably just pull one out of your sleeve hole if you wanted to.
Wow. Wow. Look at me actually checking too. Weird.
You said it.
You might be
What's your
right.
chest hair look like?
What's that? Oh, it's embarrassing.
Is it like
it's
all
embarrassing.
wild?
Yeah, it's
What if
not.
you pat
It's not
it
good.
down?
Nah,
What if you
listen.
pat it
Come on
down?
now. I got a family.
Yo.
You made a promise.
I did. It was
about-
not a promise.
You made a
Wait,
promise.
Okay,
No.
I got an idea.
Yeah.
Wait, just a little hot tool in your hands, right?
Yeah.
No,
Right.
Pat it all down?
Pat it
No.
Just a
No.
1-2 hot tool.
No.
Just pat it down. Just spit on that thing. Just pat it down.
It's not.
What if I close
happening.
my eyes?
No, it's not.
What
happening.
is
Okay.
Mocha?
Anyway.
I'm talking about for
Moving.
the chest hair, bro.
Sure.
Yo.
Jesus Christ.
No, thank you. Nah, come on. I lie all the time.
Oh.
Maury, finally, we have something in common. There's my in.
Twins.
We could lie together forever. I'm
ways
getting
of saying
nothing
that
done.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Kevin Costner officially will not be returning to Yellowstone. So last week, it was still a possibility. He said that, things are still moving in the right direction and he wanted to return. But here's Kevin Costner over the weekend.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I just want to reach out and let you know that after this long year and a half
really
of working on Horizon and doing all the things that's required and thinking about Yellowstone, that beloved series that I love, that I know you love, I just realized that I'm not going to be able to continue season 5B or into the future. It was something that really changed me. I loved it, and I know you loved it. And I just wanted to let you know that I won't be returning. And I love the relationship we've been able to develop, and I'll see you at the movies.
Cool. So there you go.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Justin Timberlake, before we get to the clip and he's got to be so careful on stage because he had to address it on stage, but he's got to be real careful too because he's he's got to go to court. But I guess what the story was is that they really, really tried everything they could to not arrest him for drunk driving.
Who's they, the police?
Remember we were talking about how out in the Hamptons, right? Like they have, it's all celebrities out there and they are used to dealing with them and they let them off for things unless something goes real bad. So I guess what happened was Timberlake was at this hotel and they saw him drinking. And whether it was somebody at the hotel or somebody, it was a staff and then they had left or whatever happened, but apparently they called the police. And that same cop who arrested Timberlake showed up at the hotel.
The same one that claimed he didn't know
Yeah.
who Timberlake was?
Yeah.
'Cause he's so young?
Yeah. So he showed up at the hotel
Okay.
and he advised Timberlake to not drive home. He was like, yo, don't drive, find a ride, you're all good. And then that was it. And the cop was like, I thought that was it. I thought that was the end of it. He goes, and then I saw him in his car. They
gave
went
him the
out
pass.
of their way to make sure that they didn't have to arrest him. They went out of their way to make sure they didn't have to arrest him. And the cop was like, yo, don't drive. And he's like, cool, no problem. And then they saw him driving. And he's like, oh, this bonehead. And then they had to arrest him. But
They gave him the pass.
Here's Justin Timberlake on stage being very careful.
We've been together through ups and downs and lefts and rights. It's been a tough week, but you're here, and I'm here, and nothing can change this moment right now. I know sometimes I'm hard to love, but you keep on loving me, and I love you right back. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm hard to love. It's like me.
No, you're easy.
What the hell was that, Maria?
You're not hard to love. I don't think so. Don't be nice to yourself.
No.
Oh.
What's the point of that?
Okay.
That gets you nowhere.
Wow, we're going down that road now.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Poor Ben Affleck. I mean, maybe.
happened?
I don't know. So we know he's going through all of it with J-Lo right now. He was out for brunch with his daughter over the weekend. No wedding ring to be seen. He taped the Kevin Hart podcast a while ago before all of this happened, and they just released it now. And he does like a lot of talking about J-Lo in it and all this other stuff.
Oh, so nice.
But they get into his face because Ben Affleck is always just miserable, right? And you're like, okay, I get the memes and everything else. But like the headline today from the Daily Mail from like a brand new Ben Affleck story. Let me read you this headline. Ben Affleck, the most miserable man in Hollywood. How fame, fortune, and a string of beautiful women, including Jennifer Lopez, haven't been able to bring happiness to the face that sparked 1,000 memes.
Damn.
Right? So
Yo, that's pretty harsh.
That's really harsh.
I would not want to be Ben Affleck today.
No.
Don't pick up the Daily Mail.
He's got the RBF.
So that's what they get into here. And so this is Kevin Hart and Ben Affleck talking about his face.
I also may be somebody who, like, I do find myself, I'm like, be sitting there at home, I'm like, what's wrong? Nothing. And nothing's wrong. I'm like, nothing. I'm listening to this thing, I start thinking something wrong. But
you have resting bitch face.
Bitch face.
Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is?
I have resting hard face.
No, do you know what that is?
Yes.
Resting bitch face. It's like when they say people just sit and you always assume that their attitude that they're wrong, and those people are actually just cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think the
Resting
one...
hard face.
No.
You don't think?
No, the thing that did not help this situation for Ben Affleck is that one clip when he holds the car door open for J-Lo. She gets in and he slams it and he puts his head and his eyes up in the air.
I know,
right?
dude.
And he's like, that clip is the one that I think sparked the Ben Affleck hates his life.
And the poor shot where he's standing out in front of that building having a cigarette, where they just keep changing his shirt to a different shirt to match anything that's current in the world. Right? Like, it's just not good. The poor guy.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Blue Jays or Elvis Martinez suspended 80 games. So Martinez made his major league debut on Friday against Cleveland. He was suspended 80 games yesterday for PEDs, performance enhancing drugs. And the problem is that Martinez issued a statement revealing that he and his wife had been trying to start a family together and that he was prescribed a treatment called Regen 50 through a fertility clinic in the Dominican Republic. And unfortunately, Regen 50 contains a banned substance called clomiphene. And clomiphene is a medication used primarily in the treatment of infertility in women. It belongs to a class of drugs called selective estrogen receptor modulators. And in some cases, clomiphene may also be prescribed off-label to treat male infertility by stimulating the production of testosterone and improving sperm production. So, like, the
guy's doing this for his family,
so he gets,
and then everyone outs him?
80 days, and then he's got to come out and say, I have low testosterone and very few sperm.
Yo,
right?
Guy, he's going to retire.
Like, that's like a...
Poor guy.
You got it, and you shouldn't have to say that, right?
And that seems excessive.
Yeah.
80 days, once you know the reason...
Yeah.
That's not cool.
So he goes, I'll learn from this experience and come back to the field in September, is what he said. He
buddy.
That's so sad.
played one game, right?
Oh, poor guy.
I know. And especially
feel bad for
when
him.
people have been caught juicing before, right?
Yeah.
Like serious juice heads.
Yeah.
And he's like, guys, I have a low sperm count.
Yeah. I'm doing this for my wife.
And they can't like turn that like
No,
forgive him?
it's a banned substance.
It's
a banned substance.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
A lot of people talk about Star Wars lately with the Acolyte.
Yeah.
They are.
That nonsense. Everybody, there's people fight like crazy over that show on Twitter. Holy moly.
I haven't watched any of the episodes
I'm
yet.
not
I'm gonna
going to
wait.
watch it.
I'm going to wait.
Yeah, I realize Star Wars for me, I think, is like music or like just a lot of things where, like pro wrestling, right? Star Wars is very much like that, where I loved it when I was a kid. I had my era, but I feel that it's moved on from me and my personal tastes, right? I still like that it exists. I love that it still has fans. Music, same thing. There's not a lot of new music I like. I like the older stuff, right? Star Wars is now that for me, right? What I used to love, I still love it. Now the new stuff, it's just not for me.
Okay.
However, I am still very much interested in learning how to lightsaber fight.
Oh, okay.
And now there's a school that is specifically teaching lightsaber fighting techniques.
Where?
Mexico City.
Okay.
It is the Jedi Knight Academy in Mexico City, which offers a 3-hour lesson based on sword fighting, martial arts, and choreography. Students use lightsabers made of illuminated ballistic-grade polycarbonate. The French Fencing Federation, I did not know this, has actually recognized lightsaber fighting as an official competitive sport.
What's with the look, Maria?
That's not a sport.
What, lightsaber fighting?
Yes. That's like saying playing Quidditch is a sport in Harry Potter when I'm running around on a broom.
People don't fly.
People don't have lightsabers in real life.
But
they do in this school.
They do.
They're not real weapons.
So you think that it's not a real sport because it's not a fight to the death?
Yeah,
You're a
I
sick
guess.
woman.
Anyway, are we booking a trip to Mexico
Hell yes,
City?
we are.
Yes.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Yesterday at the Travelers Championship in Connecticut, Scotty Scheffler and Tom Kim were neck and neck going into the 18th hole. And when CBS returned from commercials, members of the Just Stop Oil and the Extinction Rebellion protest groups wearing shirts that read "No Golf on a Dead Planet" ran onto the green, like while the golfers were on the green with flares and spray paint cans. And just trashed the green, and then the cops tackled them all, and it was a whole scene. So here is Jim Nantz commentating what went down.
Oh boy, we've got a whole group of protesters here, and they've been tackled on the ground, on the green. Police have responded quickly, but I see 4 protesters that have been handcuffed. They just came flying down the hill out of the gallery.
USA. Oh, nice. Any reason to chant USA, USA,
Come on
huh?
now. I'll tell you, the crazy thing is that was from the broadcast, right? But there's so many videos on Twitter that fans took. And when you watch those videos, listening to the fans in the gallery yell at the protesters, oh my God, it's incredible. The language. It's so un-golf, right? It was crazy. But
You don't
what a
mess with
scene.
someone's golf.
And everybody was talking about how wild it was because you're not even allowed to bring like a purse or like a hip sack or anything like that as in the gallery, like as a fan.
So where did they hide all that
They
stuff?
check everything. So that was one of the things. Like, how did they get flares and spray paint cans through security? Because
They must have snuck in somehow.
Somebody said maybe it was like what people do when there's music festivals going, where they go the week before and they bury a bottle of vodka by a tree. Right. And then they buy their ticket to the music festival and then they go and they dig up their vodka. They were saying that maybe all that stuff might have already been there.
Cheat code.
Right. Hidden somewhere or tied up somewhere in a bag, whatever. And then they waited till they got to the 18th and then they all just went bonkers. Right. Damn. But yeah. Oh, what a scene. Oh, and the green was all. And then the best part is that I shouldn't say the best part, but like it was the best part, which is that it was, just they were environmental activists, right? And then in order to clean up the green before they could continue, 2 guys came out with gas-powered leaf blowers.
Oh, no. Mission not accomplished.
Anyway,
Make
that's
y'all
what
look
went
dumb.
down.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
So much stuff with Taylor Swift in the UK over the weekend. A lot of people sent me the video of Prince William dancing. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That was everywhere.
Is he not?
Whatever, he was up there. He was up there doing his thing.
My timeline is full of
Right? Don't even say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Coordination.
Taylor brought Travis Kelce out on stage.
Oh, yeah?
He was wearing a tuxedo where for the song "I Can Do It With a Broken Heart." I guess there's one part of the song where guys in tuxedos try and prevent her from leaving, and then they bring her over to her fainting couch, and then she passes out and whatever, and then he starts fanning himself. But he was wearing the full tuxedo with the top hat and everything. He was
for
like
him.
super into it. And then at one point during the show, Taylor Swift, who played for the first time "Thank You, Amy," which was the diss track to Kim Kardashian, and before introducing that song, she had this to say.
I spent forever trying to thank you properly for that. But then on the other hand, it really makes me think about how every time somebody talks it just makes me work even harder, and it makes me that much tougher.
Taylor Swift with the clap back.
And all the Swifties right now are going in on Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters, who doesn't
Why?
really seem to have a problem with anybody. But Foo Fighters were doing a show, and Dave Grohl did this whole thing where he was talking about how Taylor Swift is on tour for her Eras tour, and the Foo Fighters are on tour for their Errors tour. So he mentioned Taylor Swift, but then said this.
I'm telling you, man, you don't want to suffer the wrath of Taylor Swift. So we like to call our tour the Errors Tour, because I feel like we've had more than a few eras and more than a few errors as well.
Wait for it.
Just a couple. That's because we actually play live. What?
Oh, that's because we actually play live. Now, a lot of people were like, "How Dave Grohl doesn't have a problem with anyone." However, back in January, Dave Grohl's daughter, Violet, tweeted, "Why can't Taylor Swift just drive like everyone else?" This is when they were tracking Taylor Swift's jet going back and forth from Nashville to LA and everywhere else, right? And then she apparently still to this day receives death threats from Taylor Swift fans.
Dave Grohl's daughter.
Dave Grohl's daughter. Damn. So that may have something to do with it. I don't know. One might think. But he doesn't really have a problem with anybody, but he's, talking that about Taylor. Like, geez.
Damn.
Right?
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Heartbreak for Oilers fans last night. Florida Panthers won their first Stanley Cup.
Yes. Congratulations, Florida. We knew they were going to do it right from the beginning.
You were just saying you were cheering for the Edmonton Oilers.
I never said that. I never said that.
Sure you did.
That was never said.
I never said that.
All Florida, all the time. Here's Connor McDavid after the crushing loss.
We showed all year long that we could fight back, even in the most dire situations. And, obviously tough to be down 3 and tough to string 4 in a row against a good team like that. But we were right there.
Whoa. So angry. Stop yelling.
I know. And Florida head coach Paul Maurice, who spent a lot of years in Winnipeg, actually had this to say when asked what he would like next.
So if I could have one thing more, it would be for the Winnipeg Jets to win the next Stanley Cup.
Wow. It would be for the Winnipeg. Not, I would like to do this again next year with these guys. That's a crazy thing for a coach to say.
Yeah, don't be saying that, bro.
I've never heard that in my life. In professional sports, I've never
That
heard
is a crazy thing for a coach to say.
That's awesome, though.
I know it was your old team and everything.
Yeah.
But you just won.
Yeah.
Like first franchise win.
Yes.
Do y'all wish your exes well?
That's like you're at your wedding day and you do your speech at the night and you you hope that your ex gets married because it's wonderful.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you don't say that as a coach, especially when your team was in it last year as well and you lost. No, you said we want to do this again next year. We're going to run it back.
Yeah.
See all this, see all in 365.
Baby. Yeah.
Right?
Maybe he was in a giving mood.
He seemed like it. Yeah, he seemed like he was all up in his feelings.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
It's looking closer and closer that Justin Trudeau may have to step down at some point in the very near future. So there was this by-election in Toronto last night. And why is this important for people in the rest of the country? Because a conservative hasn't had a seat in Toronto since 2011. And there's this area called St. Paul. And St. Paul, a lot of wealthy addresses, lots of renters, big Jewish community. And last night, for the first time since 1988, a conservative won that seat, which is not good. Like the Liberals threw everything they had at this riding to try and get their candidate elected, and it didn't work. It's not good. It's not good.
Everybody hates him.
You got to step down. That's what happens.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Oh, Mandarin. I don't even know how you afford to do this. I don't know what's going on with Mandarin. I love Mandarin. So Canada Day.
Monday.
Mandarin is offering free all-you-can-eat buffets.
No,
at
guys.
all Ontario locations
Yo, are we
on
going?
Canada Day.
Let's all go.
More than 100 dishes will be available, including exclusive selections from Mandarin's Celebrate Canada promotion. Oh, here we go.
Oh, what's on it?
Maple barbecue ribs. Poutine at Mandarin. Canadian pizza. What's that, bacon?
Probably bacon, yeah.
Bacon, yeah. And maple glazed salmon.
Okay, minus the maple stuff. I think I'm
So
good with everything else.
This is actually the 5th time Mandarin has been holding the all-you-can-eat
them
buffet.
lines, too. Have you seen?
It's
What the lineup,
crazy.
like people line up from morning
Yeah.
to get their spot.
Yes.
But there has to be like the cutoff or everybody gets in.
But like, how long are you allowed to hang out for?
Oh, they got to time.
They have to, right?
Yeah,
like your
you're here
table
for an
has to
hour,
be timed.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Got to be an hour.
Yeah.
I think an hour is sufficient.
Yeah. But even that's an hour of just solid eating.
Yeah.
That's a long time to just sit and eat, right?
Or do they cap at like 45?
Oh, maybe. No, because then you can't. No, you run the risk of like somebody like eating too fast at that point.
Yeah, I think maybe an hour is
An
right.
hour.
But
An
they
hour
have to
is-
limit like 2 plates per person.
But
or
that's
something.
not all
but
you
that's-
can eat.
That's not all you can eat, man.
It has to be timed.
It's buffet, bro.
You can't say that. Then that's 2 plates. That's
But
free.
I'm telling you how much you can eat.
No.
No.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
I don't know if you're excited about this, but the BET Awards are going down on Sunday night. Taraji P. Henson is hosting.
Oh, I love her.
Ice Spice is performing. Lauryn Hill's performing. Lotto's performing. Sexy Red is performing. Also, Will Smith is apparently going to debut a brand new song.
Oh, yeah? Amongst all those ratchet artists that you just mentioned? Yes.
Will Smith
Then
is
you got Big Willie style coming out on stage
Now-
right after Ice Spice performs her new song called Fat Butt. Come on, dog.
So the question is because I feel that Will Smith is sort of going back and maybe leaning a bit more into the culture. Does that make sense, Shem?
Yeah, I think he feels like he needs to after the Oscar slap. I think he's going to where he thinks people will welcome him with open arms.
So the question then becomes, Will Smith's new song, do we get Will Smith trying to compete with Ice Spice Fat Butt? Like, does he go a little ratchet or does he come out corny?
This is Ice Spice's new song, by the way, Fat Butt. Okay? I'm picturing Will Smith popping up on stage after this song.
Parents just don't understand.
Be angry, hating, they ain't me. How to so true and in gray shorts and a plain tee. Matters if I was them. D&G and it's custom. Cuban link with a pink gem. I'm the one who they pump in. Rap on a pop chart. Toasting bitches like pop tarts. Use a flop, knock it off.
Right? Like, I can't.
Pop it off. You know you ain't like that.
No, I like this song, man. Everyone's hating on this song. I like it.
It's all right.
Yeah, and then Will Smith popping up on stage, getting jiggy with it. Nah, 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 nah.
Parents just don't understand.
Welcome to Miami. Like, come on, Will. Like,
I'm curious.
What's
I think
he-
he goes ratchet.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah.
You think it goes ratchet?
Will-
Gotta go.
Yeah.
It's not believable, Shem.
Lean into it,
not-
man.
It is no.
And Ice Spice is believable, please.
No, Ice Spice. This, come on, over Big Willie style.
Maybe he's gonna come out like a legend more. Like I'm a blast from the past.
But it's a new song, though. It's a new song he's doing.
Like, I know he's from Philly and everything, but
Yeah, here come the men in black.
no, come on, guys.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Apparently, Taylor Swift is a Hugh Grant fan, and Hugh Grant is a Taylor Swift fan. So, Hugh Grant was at the Eras Tour in London. He said on Twitter, "Hey, dear Taylor, you have an incredible show, an amazing and very hospitable team, and an excellent, if gigantic, boyfriend. #tequila shots. Thanks so much from one aging London boy, wife, and thrilled 8-year-old." And then she responded, "As a longtime Hugh Grant stan, this tweet is very important to my culture."
Yo, just send a thank you card.
I think he writes his tweets. I think someone writes hers for her.
Yeah.
Or no, they just walk around next to her and they're like, "Yo, Hugh Grant."
What do you want to say? Yeah.
Said this. What do you want to say?
Yeah,
And she's like, "OMG, huge fan."
Exactly.
Stan.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
After more than 2 decades worth of content published on MTVnews.com, it is no longer available after MTV appears to have fully pulled down the entire site. So in 2023, MTV News, they shuttered all business because of the money problems from Paramount Global. The now unavailable content includes decades of music journalism, thousands of articles and interviews with countless artists dating back all the way to 1996 when they first launched MTVnews.com. Perhaps one of the most significant losses, they say, is the hip-hop related archives, because it was really the beginning of a lot of artists in 96. And so that is just gone. It's decades of history and research gone. This is what they did to ET Canada, which was crazy.
And it won't live anywhere.
It doesn't live anywhere.
Someone must have the tapes.
No, there is.
That
It
sucks.
is gone. You will never see any of it ever again. We had 17 years of interviews, like and interviews that we did with superstars now, and it was like their first interview.
Like Justin
they
Bieber when
they
he was
were
13 years old
kids.
and just jumped on the scene.
I did one of the very first interviews ever of anyone with Abigail Breslin.
Love her.
And I was second on a carpet, and it was the first time she'd ever done a carpet for her first movie. She had never talked to press before because nobody had even seen this movie when she did Little Miss Sunshine. And I was there, and then I hung out with her mom afterwards and everything. Like, all of that gone. Like, the entire archive is just gone. Everything. It's like, if you Google now, it's really crazy because the website and everything else is down. If you Google ET Canada right now, it's almost like it never existed.
No, but the website's gone. But somebody has to have beta tapes of all this stuff.
It's sitting in because literally everything was moved to digital, right? So there's digital copies of it somewhere, but because they can't pay the licensing fee, everything is branded with ET Canada, which they do not own that name anymore.
So same thing happened then with
MTV. You can't do it.
So like even early, I don't know, interviews with like Jay-Z, gone.
So if it was on MTV News, it's gone.
Yeah. Early days of Drake, after Drake signed with Lil Wayne and everyone was all over Drake.
All of that is gone. It's just it's as if it didn't exist. You can't find it anywhere online unless somebody copied it and they have a ghost site or whatever it is. I don't know.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Ben Affleck yelling at the paparazzi.
Oh, no.
So I guess they were like at his house. They had just hang out on the end of his driveway.
Yeah.
Right? And then they take pictures of him coming in and out in the car. And I guess
Bro, I'd yell too.
Yeah, he had enough.
Don't flash your light on someone driving down the driveway. Don't do that. That's dangerous. You don't even know if that's me. You're causing accident. That's right. That's right. Okay, Betty, you're right. I have no idea. You know that. But you're right. Stop, man. It's dangerous what you guys are doing. You understand? Yeah. I can't see. You're going to get somebody hurt doing this. My daughter's coming down here. If you flash the lights on her, you're putting her in danger. You understand that?
Oh, in danger. Yeah.
Bro, it's ballsy to start taking his picture when he's in the middle of tell you to not take his picture, right? You hear the cameras going off?
They're like, sorry. Click, 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 click. I'd rage too, though.
They're not even caring about the photo. They're just trying to upset him more.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
God.
is. Like, let the man let the man leave his house.
Yeah.
Like, find him in public somewhere, not right on his property.
Yeah, I agree.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Are you interested in hearing Steve Martin and Martin Short roast each other for a little while?
Yes.
Okay,
I love these two together.
Martin Short guest hosting for Jimmy Kimmel. And
new season of Only Murders.
Soon, right? Yeah.
Couple of months.
Yeah. So Martin Short, guest hosting for Jimmy Kimmel. His guest was Steve Martin. So here you go.
When Jimmy asked me to be his first guest host of the summer, I must admit, truly honored.
Yeah. And I was honored when Jimmy asked me to be the first guest host, but I said no. I said, you'll be able to find someone who'll do it for scale. Don't you worry.
Well, I really do appreciate you being here, Steve. There are very few people in this world that I truly admire, and Steve Martin is very close to being one of them.
And I love Marty. He's one of the hardest working men in show business because it just doesn't come naturally to him.
That's a good one.
And I have to tell you what a joy it is to share a stage with someone who looks like he should be selling reverse mortgages.
Damn.
And let me tell you, what a joy it is for me to work with someone who looks like a former women's tennis champion.
Yeah, the two of them are great. Amazing together.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Apparently, the LCBO says it will be extending store hours starting this week in response to a potential strike involving its unionized workers. So they said all of its stores will open early at 9:30 a.m. and then a lot of them will stay open until at least 10 p.m. to ensure customers have ample time to shop because that strike vote is coming soon.
Shouldn't it just be 24 hours at this point?
No. Bro, it's a union place. It's going to be
24 hours?
Alcohol places really shouldn't be 24 hours.
10 p.m.
That
and
would
9
be
a.m.
bad,
At this
you know?
point, what difference does it
This is
make?
what it's going to wind up being when you can buy it in stores. Some stores are going to be, open. You can buy it at 2, right? Yeah.
Like there's 4 a.m. last call at some places, and that's even dangerous.
Maria knows.
I had my few fair shares.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions.
Hey! Big up, big up, big up, big up!
For the first time in their history, the Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions.
Edmonton Oilers should have won more games.
Well, that's how it works, right?
Yep. Connor McDavid talking to the press after the heartbreaking loss.
So loud.
I know.
So fired up.
We showed all year long that we could fight back, even in the most dire situations. And, obviously tough to be down 3 and tough to string 4 in a row against a good team like that. But we were right there.
You can't clown on a man's energy level after they lost. You can do that during the series, but you can't clown on his energy after they just lost.
Seems like he just
game
did.
7.
I wonder if the team needed to calm him down.
Jesus, man.
I'm just playing.
Bad news for Drake.
What happened now?
Well, because he put $500,000 down on Edmonton.
Oh, okay.
And then this goes back to the whole Drake curse, right? Because he would have won 1.25 had they won. He placed another $500,000 on the Dallas Mavericks to win the NBA Finals.
Oh, not good last week.
He lost $1 million on the Tyson Fury fight.
Yeah.
He did win the Super Bowl, though. He won $1.15 million on the Super Bowl. But everybody said that this really started, the Drake curse started when he became the global ambassador for the Raptors. Because if you remember then, they would just lose in like heartbreaking fashion every year after he became the global ambassador. What else did he lose? He lost $700,000 on that Sean Strickland fight with Duplessis.
Oh, yeah.
He lost $500,000 on another Sean Strickland fight because it went to the decision when he bet a KO. Drake bet $1.2 million that Jake Paul would beat Tommy Fury, but he lost that because it was a split decision and not a knockout. He put another $1 million down in 2022 on World Cup, and he had Argentina to beat France in regulation, but that went to penalties. So he lost.
Wow. You can't say he's not a fan of sports.
He a fan.
It's a terrible record. It's a lot of money, though.
But is it, we've talked about this before, is it his money or just that app's money?
No, but I mean, he's been betting for a long time on sports, so maybe now it's not his money, but at some point it was his money, I guess. I don't know. That's a lot, though.
Maybe just bet, but like don't post about it.
Yeah, but then he
But I
doesn't
think that's
get
part
paid.
of the deal.
Yeah, he's got to get paid, right? Speaking of, Scotty Barnes, Toronto Raptor young star, he's inked a new 5-year deal, maximum contract extension that could be worth up to $270 million, according to ESPN.
Yes, get the bag, Scotty.
The reported deal would make Scotty Barnes the highest paid player in Raptors history.
Get the bag.
And is expected to be made official on July 6th. That is a lot of money, man. Like, I'm used to hockey money because that's just sort of how I grew up as a hockey fan.
Yeah.
But when you get into like basketball and football money, like that is baseball money. That's crazy. $270 million?
Real bad man.
Yes, sir.
Does he get paid every 2 weeks?
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I think it's quarters is probably when they wind up doing that, and then it goes to his people.
Maury, when you're dealing with that kind of money, you think he's waiting around every 2 weeks for?
I would check the app. I would check the
check?
TD app going, okay, cool, got paid.
Yeah, I mean, he may depending on like who his money guy is, like that he may have money come out that goes into a personal account, like his piss around money, right? Yeah. Like, like here's your allowance kind of thing that you give yourself, and then the rest of it just sort of works for the future and the investments. You put a team together, maybe you buy some, franchises or whatever, right? That kind of thing. That's,
sports betting.
That's what you do. No, not sports betting. That's how you get kicked out of the league. No sports betting. Don't encourage that.
Actually, he's like, but it looks so much fun.
No, it's not fun. You know what's more fun?
They go to the store real quick, Pro Line.
That's what I don't understand. You know what's these athletes that get busted for this? You know what's more fun than winning a bet on a basketball game? Playing professional basketball. That should be more fun. And if it's not, you have a problem.
It's like, no, let me bet on Euro Cup real quick.
No.
Just one bet.
No.
They probably have people who place their bets for them.
You cannot do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm sure they do.
No,
They
you
probably like way
do
down the
that.
line.
No,
in his list of like mad
No.
it's
You're
like,
telling me if you really like to bet on sports, you wouldn't have someone doing it?
If I was making $270 million playing sports?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
like, yo, Crody, just
No,
real
no,
quick.
Crody. No, get off my lap, Crody. Right?
No, hold on. No, Crody's don't chill on your lap.
What do you mean?
It's not something
That
Crows do.
ain't, that ain't it, bro.
Oh, I don't know.
Honestly, we can, no.
Get off my back?
No,
Get out my bag.
No, the Crodies
Oh.
are not on your lap.
No.
Not in your bag.
On your back.
Or in your bag.
No.
Okay.
They would say "allow me."
Okay.
Nice it.
What does that mean? Allow me.
Allow me.
No idea.
Allow me
Allow
is
me.
a short for like "allow me."
Oh, yeah. I would.
Oh, nice.
So what's
nice.
Crody?
Freaky Friday 2. You guys killing me here. Set for release in theaters in 2025. Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis reuniting. They posted a picture together in front of their trailers.
Yeah.
And this is actually kind of exciting because it's not just like the two of them. Like the whole original cast is back. Like Mark Harmon is back. Chad Michael Murray is back. Like everybody's back
All
for
the
Freaky.
Crodies.
Yeah, all the Crodies. Yes. Oh,
That are on
everybody,
your lap.
just everybody stacked on lap on lap on lap. It's like a big tower of Crodies. Right?
Is this something you order on a menu?
Right?
Tower of Crodies.
Yeah, man, it's a Crody tower.
What?
You know when you see like people where they like it used to be.
You describing Maria's DMs right now.
No, it's not.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
First, it was Red Lobster, and now Hooters is blaming the high cost of rent and food for shutting down 40 locations.
40, wow.
They include spots in Florida, Kentucky, Rhode Island, Texas, and Virginia. Although the company is not said to be in dire financial situation as Red Lobster, who we know filed for bankruptcy.
My heart still aches for full of RL.
In fact, Hooters boss has said that the brand remains highly resilient and relevant, and highlighted, I did not know this, a new range of Hooters frozen foods, which are sold in supermarkets across America. I did not know that. I mean, I don't know if you really want the food, right?
Yeah.
So they said that they made a difficult decision to shutter the underperforming stores that were just costing too much. Hooters still has 300 restaurants globally after the closures.
That's a
I didn't
lot.
know that. I didn't know Hooters
That's
still killing it in the
I've been to Hooters in
in
forever,
the Wangs
bro.
game.
I walk by the one here like almost every day.
You know, I got kicked out of a Hooters one time.
For what? What'd you
Because
do?
we were too loud watching a football game, and they told us it was a family establishment.
What?
So they asked us to leave, and we were like, "Man, we're at a Hooters."
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we got kicked out. There's me and like 8 guys. We were watching a football game and just eating
They
and,
want you to
eating
keep
and drinking.
quiet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were being too
football,
loud.
wings, and beer.
Yes, and we were being too loud, and we were asked to leave before the food was finished. Like they asked us to leave.
They at least give you like takeaway containers
No,
for food?
no. I mean, we didn't take it because we just had to go find another place.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were asked to leave because it was a family establishment.
Weird.
Family establishment.
What?
Yes.
Did you still have to pay?
Yeah, we paid. We settled our bill. We didn't skip. Yeah, I found that weird.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
So this guy in New Jersey, Edward Kang, was playing an online game called Arch Age. I don't know. I never heard of that. And I guess he got in a fight with another gamer who lived in Florida. And then Edward told his mom that he was going to go visit a friend in Florida. And then Edward took a night flight from New Jersey to Florida. When he landed, he bought a hammer and then went to this gamer's house and beat him with it.
Yo, it's on site?
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't even know the guy. Just found out where he lived, I guess, whatever. And it was his like arch nemesis on the gaming platform. And he went and beat him. Here's the cop breaking it all down in Jacksonville.
Particularly noteworthy is that it originated from an online altercation. The suspect flew from Newark, New Jersey to Florida, apparently to confront the victim in person. The victim's stepfather reported being awakened by screams for help. When he went to see what was going on, he found his stepson on the ground, struggling with the attacker who was in possession of a hammer. The victim and the stepfather managed to disarm Kang and restrain him until our deputies arrived on scene.
Do you
It
know
was 2 a.m. He showed up dressed all in black with a mask and gloves.
You know how angry you have to be for that period of time, for it to originate in the game?
Yes.
For you to then book the flight, get to the airport, take that flight, which is like 4 hours.
Yes.
And then
still steaming.
And then from the airport to the dude's house.
Yes. And you got to find
That rage level has to be at 100 the entire time.
Yeah, and then you got to find like a 24-hour hardware store to buy a hammer.
And then
like
there's
there's a lot of steps. There's a lot of steps in there. Yeah. Crazy, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
The numbers are in for the Stanley Cup Finals. The average audience of 16.3 million viewers tuned in across multiple platforms in North America, making Monday's clinching title game for Florida the most watched NHL game in 20 years.
Wow.
The entire 7-game finale averaged 8.8 million viewers across North America, the most since the Blackhawks beat the Bruins back in 2013. So that's all right.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Jeremy Renner doing the Smart List podcast, and I guess he's talking about Mayor of Kingstown. Is that the deal?
Yeah.
That's
the show he's on now.
Yeah. And kind of like going back and forth on what he now chooses to do for work after having gone through almost losing his life when he got run over by that tractor.
You know, I was very terrified to get, because I'm to do like fiction. Yeah. Like I'm still trying to live in reality here. I'm trying to live, right? So it was a hard line for me to cross to
got real, and then your job is to be fake.
Yeah. So it's like, wow, man. It was a big stretch. It was very, very challenging for me mentally to get over that hump. And I still struggle with it sometimes. I'm like, I don't take it super seriously. And I'm in a character that I can do very well, and I know the show very well. So it was easy for me to kind of slide back into it. But if it was a very challenging role, I couldn't have taken it. There's not challenging in the sense of it, because the show's challenging, but it's that, if I had to go play Dahmer or something, like something so far
like
from me.
Spiritual space.
Yeah. I just don't have the energy for it. I don't have the fuel. I have so much fuel to put into like this reality, this body, all this stuff. I can't just go play make believe right now. Because it takes a lot of time to get right here every day, just so I can, have a positive thought, so I can progress, so I can always keep growing.
Damn, man.
So you know what that means? We will never see him as an Avenger ever again.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know, man. It's a physical gig.
Yes, but they can do. If anybody can make him run and jump, it's Marvel, right? They could do. I think Hawkeye would be one of those characters that he would like to play. One, because he knows the character, and two, it's frivolous. It's not taxing mentally. I think he'd be into that. Right? You don't think so?
I don't.
Do you want
think
another
so.
Hawkeye though? Like, were you happy with that? Like, you want more?
You know what? I really enjoyed the TV show that they did.
Yeah.
With
It
Harry
was.
Seinfeld.
No, you're right. It was good.
Right?
It was
That
good.
was good. He's a great character.
Yeah. But man, what a run that guy had. Good for him though, dude. Jesus.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
And quickly, The Bear season 3 premieres today. But does it? So it's on Hulu today. But is it on Disney the same time? Because they've staggered it in years past.
Well, the commercials running in Canada are on Disney.
When I logged on to my Disney account.
Is it on there? Yeah.
So the commercials running have the Disney logo on.
Let me check right now. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on, pause. Let me check. Opening my Disney app.
Wow.
It says watch now.
Yeah.
On yours, yeah?
No, on the website. It says Disney Watch Now, but I mean that.
How many episodes are on there? Does it say how many it dropped with?
Coming today, 9:00 tonight.
There you go.
9 p.m. tonight?
Hold on. Season
3. Or 3.
It's not even listed. It just says 9:00 tonight.
Damn. Okay, cool. Well, anyway, there you go. Season 3 of The Bear drops today.
I love it.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
It's looking like Costco is going to stop selling books year round.
Oh.
And they're only going to sell them around the busy holiday season. And the reason for this is that it takes a lot of man labor to deal with the books. So each book has to be unpacked individually and stacked in the proper ways and all this other stuff. Whereas everything else in Costco comes out on a giant skid. They slide it into the spot, they tear the saran wrap off it, and there you go. So it's because it takes... they're paying too much to have individual staff members stack the books. So they're only going to start selling books around the holiday season, apparently.
Just watch TikTok, honestly.
Instead of reading a book?
Wow.
Maria.
What an endorsement.
I got a 14-year-old going into grade 9 right now.
Sorry, read the books.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry. Get a Kindle. I don't know. It's probably easier to read.
Yes, reading is reading. That's fine.
Yeah, I also read the subtitles on.
Yeah, so do I. But that's for different reasons.
Because his eyes are old and he can't
I know. I got that one.
There we go.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Canada's centenarian boom is growing, and it's growing fast. So Stats Canada, you know what a centenarian is? Everybody tries to explain
No.
that? People,
Type of person?
people who live over 100.
Oh, got it.
right
now.
Congratulations, Ross, out here winning.
God, I'm not into
Did you
this
get your
today.
letter from the Prime Minister when you turned 100?
Stats can't
Like
figure
he wants
show.
a letter from the Prime Minister.
Yeah,
So everyone
please.
get in the royal family.
You were about to say Queen.
I know I was.
The country's population of people 100 or older more than tripled over over 11,700 between 2000 and 2023, and now they're on track to pass 100,000 in the next 50 years. Experts credit improvements in healthcare and medical awareness, but also think genetics play in a huge factor. But even though we knew these numbers were coming, they still say that the healthcare in this country and all these sectors that go along with it are largely unprepared for the boom that is going to be happening with people living over 100 when they get to those numbers. So look out for that.
Congratulations, Ross.
Shut up.
He said congratulations, Ross.
Oh, my God.
Turn up the hearing aid.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Travis Kelce sidesteps a question about Jake Gyllenhaal while he was on a podcast. So I guess one of the guys on the podcast was talking about his favorite Taylor Swift song. And the guy said that, what was the song? What's the Taylor Swift song about
Karma.
Jake Gyllenhaal? Karma? Is that what it
Is it
was?
Karma?
So
Yeah.
so he said
Or
he said Karma, and then the guy was like, "Who's that about again?" And so listen to how Travis Kelce gets out of this.
Karma is Gyllenhaal, right?
What happened?
Was it?
Damn, boy, this thing is right here.
Oh shit!
Hey, I'm
coming straight home to me. But wasn't it Guy on the Screen?
It was.
It was.
That's a classy man right there.
Damn.
Good for him.
Right? God, he must. Do you think that she just sits and talks about all the guys? Like, do you think that he knows all the dirt? No,
I think
no.
I don't think so. I don't think that they're that.
I
couple.
think her last boyfriend would want to know every detail.
Yeah.
He probably gave her like a notepad and said, "Write down everything I need to know."
Yeah, he's
You
a
know what I
weirdo
mean?
for sure.
Yeah.
No, I think Trav
You know?
Trav is good. He's good people.
Yeah. You don't want to know that.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Hold on here. Gayle King came to Justin Timberlake's defense last week after the drunk driving fiasco, where she was talking about his character and saying that he's not a reckless guy and he's not irresponsible. And it sort of sounded like that she was kind of not condoning, but maybe willing to look past the driving while intoxicated. Anyway, TMZ caught up with Gayle in New York yesterday for some clarification.
JT, were you surprised by the backlash of people like...
What backlash?
Because you said he wasn't reckless.
No, I said I don't see him to be an irresponsible person.
Right.
I don't. Right. But I was in no way saying drunk driving is okay. And I also made that clear. But nobody picked up on the rest of the sentence.
Right,
but I don't consider him reckless or irresponsible. Was that a bad thing? Did he make a huge mistake? Yes. And I think he acknowledged that. But we're always so quick to cancel and criticize anytime somebody makes a big mistake. I'm just sort of tired of that. That's all. I can't even say that, he and I are great friends, but I just think he made a mistake. It was wrong and he knows that. But do I think of him as reckless and irresponsible? Generally speaking, there are other people I do. I wouldn't put him in that category. That's all I was saying. But I'm never, ever, ever excusing drunk driving.
But he was reckless and irresponsible. Like, that's the weird thing about that.
And we know
also,
that
nobody's trying to cancel Justin Timberlake
No.
over this. There's a lot of stuff they want to cancel him over.
And we also know that the arresting officer, gave the guy a pass.
He did. He tried to help
recognized
him.
and said, "Listen, you've had too much. I know
Don't
this.
get in
If
that
I
car."
see you on the streets, I'm gonna have to do my job. Right now, I'm giving you a pass.
Yeah,
get into an Uber.
Yep.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
The LAPD, the DEA, and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service have all been coordinating an investigation into the death of Matthew Perry. And according to People Now, a law enforcement source told them that the investigation by authorities is, quote, nearing its conclusion, and police believe multiple people will be charged.
Yikes.
The source added that the U.S. Attorney's Office, they would make the ultimate decision on whether or not those charges happen. But if you remember the autopsy, he had ketamine in it. He died from a ketamine overdose, and then he also had something else in his system and a heart problem. But the ketamine that he had in him, because he was getting ketamine treatments, was not the ketamine for the treatment. So he was getting ketamine somewhere else, and that was the ketamine that killed him. So they were trying to figure out where did he get it, who sent it to him, all this other stuff. So they're looking to make some arrests.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
The giant 3,300 seat restaurant at the Olympic Village for athletes was unveiled yesterday.
How's it look? Nice?
And yeah, it's okay. The food hall has 6 different dining areas offering meals from around the world, as well as a lot of French cuisine. Half of the dishes that will be given to athletes will be vegetarian. And you also cannot get French fries. But they say that they will have plenty of lentils.
Great. Yum.
They say for technical reasons we can't offer French fries.
Oh, and there's no champagne. If you remember that story, there's no champagne offered in the Olympic Village.
Yep. So one of the major commitments by Paris 2024 was offering vegetarian meals in order to have their carbon footprint of each meal on average. They say that they wanted vegetarian meals everywhere. Listen to this. At sports venues, that the venues, not where the athletes eat, but these are for the spectators. At sports venues, 60% of the food offered to fans will be vegetarian. And the stadiums that are hosting skateboarding, BMX, and breakdancing will be entirely meat-free.
No offense to anyone who's vegetarian.
No offense.
But give me the meat.
Thank you.
If I'm watching BMX,
thank you.
I'm not sitting there with a plate full of lentils.
No, I want chicken fingers. I don't want couscous.
And I want fries, dog.
Yes, no fries. Zero fries.
Because I'm watching skateboarders. I want fries.
So normally in the Olympic Village, there's usually a McDonald's, right? Those late night things, some athletes, you've already finished your event. You want to go. You're like, I haven't had dirty food in a long time. Just give me a Big Mac, right?
So now what? I got a McLentil?
There's no McDonald's in Olympic Village in Paris this year. So the athletes don't even have access to that. It's like the first time in a long time. So no McDonald's,
Boring.
no French fries, plenty of lentils, and if you're planning on going and watching either breakdancing or BMX, it's
here's a salad,
I don't know, green beans and honey.
And you
I
can't
guess,
bring
right?
in your own snacks, I guess, right?
No.
Waters and lentils.
Yes.
Cool.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
The wife of one of the longtime members of the Village People. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, what happened?
Young man. They're suing Disney.
For what?
For $20 million, saying that Disney treated them poorly, failed to pay them promptly, and subsequently blackballed the Village People from performing at Disney World. So her husband was Victor Willis, or is Victor Willis, the sole original member of the Village People who still performs under the Village People name.
You got to give me character. I don't know names.
The military guy.
Okay, cool.
And he co-wrote this. He co-wrote Macho Man. He co-wrote In the Navy. So Karen says that the Village People, her husband's Village People, were booked to perform at Disney World in Florida in 2018. They've been doing this every year for decades. They do an annual show at Disney World. But she said that performance was terrible. The sound was awful. She was banned from the sound booth. She also claims that she and her husband, Victor, the military man from the Village People, were attacked by a group of overzealous fans who she claims were planted in the park by a group of feuding ex-Village People members.
What? All this went down at Disney?
Yes. Village People were warring at Disney.
That sounds like WWE.
And then after that, she says they never received payment, and she claims that Disney sent out the checks, but they sent them to the wrong Village People.
They got the wrong postal code for the wrong village. Damn, bruh. It went to the wrong YMCA.
I've been living in this world not knowing that there's more than one Village People act out there, and they're feuding.
I want to see that.
I didn't know this.
I want to see that.
Thank you.
It's like a battle royal.
Yes.
Put them all in the ring.
And perfect that would be. It would be like a video game where like the cop fights the cop.
Yeah.
And the guy with
like Street Fighter.
Yes, it would look like Street Fighter. Finish him. Right? It would be amazing.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Round one. Fight.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
You guys happy with Jacoby Walter coming to the Raptors?
Yes.
Good draft.
Great draft.
A lot of people didn't think he was going to be around at 19, but that's where the Raptors scooped him up in the first round. Big kid, huh? 6'5".
Great name, too.
195. Baylor.
Baylor.
Yeah. He's from Texas, but he's playing for Baylor. Never been to Canada.
Oh, no. Bro. Yo. Them winter months, traveling days?
Yeah. Well, where's Baylor, though? He's got to be used to winter by now, right?
I don't
even
think
know where
so.
Baylor is. Where's Baylor?
Baylor University is in Texas.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Yeah, he's probably never seen snow.
Waco, Texas.
Yeah.
Dude.
He's never seen snow.
You're going from the center of the sun to the North Pole.
I'm happy about that, though. Good kid.
Welcome. Get that guy a North Face.
Yeah, man.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
WestJet is canceling flights ahead of a possible strike by its mechanics union. WestJet says that as a result, it has preemptively canceled 25 flights between today and tomorrow, affecting 3,300 customers. So make sure you check before you leave. I guess
all those long weekend flights, man.
And this weekend, I think they said something like there's 250,000 people traveling this weekend.
Yeah,
like it's
probably
crazy.
It's up there, not up there with, but
yeah, it's the busiest weekend of the summer, they said.
March break and like Christmas time.
Yeah,
right. This is like
yeah.
one of those weekends.
So this comes after the Aircraft Mechanics Fraternal Association accused WestJet of suing it without notifying its negotiators who are working with the airline and working out a new collective bargaining agreement. So WestJet again canceling 25 flights between today and tomorrow. So check yours before you leave.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Katy Perry, we teased a little bit of this song when they released a tiny clip of it. It's called Woman's World. And I am a giant Katy Perry fan, man. Like, I still, when I hear Firework, I still love it. I think that song is so great. Roar, I love. Like all that stuff. I think this may be the full circle moment where a human artist sounds more AI than AI.
Oh God, yeah. It sounds even worse.
Oh, just wait. This may be the most basic pop song I've ever heard.
Even the production
Listen.
sounds AI.
So intelligent. She is heaven sent.
No, this ain't it.
So soft, so strong. She's a winner, champion, superhuman, number one. She's a sister, she's a mother. Open your eyes, just look.
It's like they went into ChatGPT and just typed like, write a up-tempo pop song that is uplifting and empowering for women.
It's so clunky that it sounds like the original lyrics were in a different language and the translation to English doesn't quite work.
Yeah. It's a bad song, guys.
Right?
I don't even mind an AI sounding record from an artist if the song sounds good.
But the lyrical content is like
beyond basic?
Beyond basic.
Yeah. This ain't it.
It's also just not even catchy.
No, not
like
at all.
It's annoying.
You don't want to sing it. You don't want to sing the song.
No.
Anyway,
Katy Perry.
Movie or something.
What's
like,
that?
There has to be for something like a movie or something. Like there's no way
it's from a new album.
No, I know that, but it must be for something.
Her album.
Yeah, it's her album. That leaked. The whole thing leaked. It was supposed to be out July 11th. Whoops. Sorry.
Leaked. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Post Malone teases a new song. So he did. We know he did that one with Morgan Wallen. We know he did one with Blake Shelton. Now
amazing.
here is Post Malone with Chris Stapleton.
Southern draw said here's where I get off. I've enjoyed the time.
Yo, damn. This is great.
She said, baby, give me one more kiss before I kiss your ass goodbye.
Oh, damn. Great line.
Yeah, great line.
That
sounds country to me.
I love that. I'm so excited for this
Chris
album.
Stapleton is so good.
It's amazing.
The two of them together are just like
Agreed.
unbelievable.
Agreed.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. So is this all supposed to be on one album, like all these country tracks? Is that the
The
deal?
one in
that he's-
F1000,
that
I think,
he's-
is the name of the album. It comes out in August.
Yeah,
F1 Trillion.
Is F1 Trillion?
F1 Trillion. Sorry,
So
no disrespect, boss.
Yeah.
Sorry, dog. I didn't mean to disrespect you like that. Get it right. It's like you call yourself.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Oh, this is big news. The NCAA has announced that its Division I Council voted earlier this week to no longer test athletes for marijuana and cannabis ahead of college football postseason play-in championships.
Hey!
They said the NCAA drug testing program is intended to focus on the integrity of competition, and cannabis products do not provide a competitive advantage. The council's focus is on policies centered on student-athlete athlete health and well-being rather than punishment for cannabis. So
Perfect.
there you go.
Athletes are all like, yo, we're happy.
To this day. To this day.
Give me that rolling.
Changes nothing.
Nothing.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
A report that was prepared by Toronto Police shows that people are still waiting a really long time to get through to 911 operators during an emergency. Standard wait times should be no more than like 15 seconds. I think last year, people were waiting a minute and a half when they called 911. Yeah, and now the wait time, they say that they've got it down to an average of 30 seconds. But they're still, they say, working on hiring and retaining more emergency dispatchers, as well as educating the public about when and when not to call 911. Like they're putting a little bit of the blame on people who go to Tim Hortons and their order's not right, and then they call 911.
Or like when the emergency notification goes off on your phone.
Yes. Yes. Or when you lock your keys in your car and people don't know who to call, so they call 911.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So all those things are all factors. But yeah, that's a long time to wait, man. Jeez.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Al Michaels, the famous voice, Al Michaels, you know him from, he's a classic sports commentator. You know him from the Super Bowl. Here's a little bit of Al Michaels.
54. Buffalo's going to get the ball to start the second half.
You know that voice,
Butker,
right? Everybody knows Al Michaels.
Classic
voice.
Synonymous with the NFL.
So he's doing the Olympics again this year.
Oh, nice.
And NBC is using AI Al Michaels.
For what?
So they're going to provide customized Olympic recaps on Peacock for subscribers during the Olympics. And that includes AI Al Michaels greeting users by name and digging into highlights from specific sports that the user or subscriber has said that they're interested in. So the highlights can be further customized to focus on things like viral moments or athlete backstories or whatever category the Peacock subscriber wants. So you can go on and say, I'm interested in javelin, women's, I want to know all about the Australian athletes, whatever, and then they can generate a 10-minute pack designed just for you with Al Michaels narrating it.
Like, welcome, Doug.
Yeah. Hey, Doug, it's Al Michaels. But it's perfect, apparently. And they...
Wait, does Al Michaels get the bag for that?
So
like, does he see profit?
They pay Al Michaels a lot, and Al Michaels said that when he was approached about this, he was skeptical, but obviously curious. And then when they showed him what they wanted to do, he said, "I saw the demonstration detailing what they had in mind, and I said, I'm in." But Al Michaels is sort of like the first major person to allow a broadcaster to do an AI version of them. But it's great when it's Al Michaels because, like you said, he's probably getting the bag for that. But for everybody else, they won't be getting the bag for that,
Because
right?
they're not Al Michaels.
So NBC,
And it's not the Olympics.
Exactly. So NBC said that there were 7 million possible ways that a playlist could be customized by one individual, with all Al Michaels perfectly rendered AI reading
That's
it to
scary,
you.
man.
Hey, Mocha, good morning. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Kevin Feige, the head of Marvel, when they released the poster for Fantastic Four, it was kind of like super retro looking, and everybody was like, oh, maybe it's going to take place in the 60s. And then we found out that the guy who did WandaVision, which was a very sort of retro feeling show, is the guy who's doing Fantastic Four. And here is Kevin Feige confirming that it will, in fact, be a period piece.
It is a period, and there was another piece of art we released with Johnny Storm flying in the air and making a 4 symbol, and there was a cityscape in the corner of that image, and there were a lot of smart people who noticed that cityscape didn't look exactly like the New York that we know or the New York that existed in the 60s in our world. And those are smart observations, I'll say.
Don't you follow Johnny Storm on OnlyFans, Maury? Different Johnny Storm. Where he's on the phone. He's not even listening.
He's on the phone with Johnny Storm.
Oh, maybe he is. What's Maury doing
Who's
on the
he
phone right
calling
now?
right
I don't know.
now?
Who's
Yeah, what
calling
are you-
right now? He
Bro,
doesn't
on the radio.
He doesn't have headphones on right
Maury!
now. He doesn't have headphones on right now.
What are you doing, bro? We're on the radio. Dog.
You played the sound of the bat.
Why are you telling everyone? Stop snitching. People
Why are you
go into the
snitching? Why are you doing that during the news? Wait till after the news. I asked you a very important question.
What do you need to know?
I said, isn't Johnny Storm somebody you follow on OnlyFans?
Oh my God, yes. I'm
Okay,
his number
anyway,
one
back.
fan.
Okay, back to
Get
doing
back
what
on
you're
the
doing.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
There's a tiny little deli, an Italian deli in Oceanside, New York, on Long Island, that has just gone bananas. When it was discovered, and they've been selling them for a long time, but somebody on TikTok wandered into this place and bought one of their sandwiches and then threw up the TikTok, and then that thing went bananas. And now this deli, like people are driving 3 hours to go to this deli because they make a sandwich where the bun is a pickle.
What else is on it?
Anything you want in
bun,
it.
though, no?
Anything you want. They're big pickles.
Big
Like
pickles?
it's a big pickle.
Yeah, but how do you fit all the meat and stuff in?
So they
sounds so good.
scoop out the stuff in the middle of the pickle, the wet stuff.
Yeah.
And then they basically
You got pickle
fill
shell.
it, right? Yeah, they fill it full of ham and cheese,
All the
provolone,
gabagool.
what you need, whatever you need, right? And then
So much gabagool.
they top bun it, and that one is also full, and then they cut it in half and they wrap it in like tinfoil, like a big giant burrito. And it's huge. Like this thing is a massive sandwich. It's a giant pickle. And they sell them for $10, but that is now
$10, that's it?
$10. They're now selling 250 over lunch
Did
hour.
you not make your own?
I guess you could, but I guess everybody there's I don't know. Everybody has like their favorite pickle. I guess I don't know. Pickles are disgusting, but everybody sort of has their favorite pickles, and I guess
Nathan's are good pickles.
I guess they really love their pickles at this
Wow.
place too. So, would you eat a pickle sandwich with the?
I would. You know what?
with,
I would try it.
You
Yeah.
would, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me all the gabagool.
Really? Yeah.
Every
This
little
you
bit
should
of it.
see the video of it though. Like it's a big
I would.
pickle.
I would try.
It's a
Absolutely.
they were talking about actually, Maria, how it's Gen Zs are very much into pickles right now.
Love pickles.
Yeah, one of them. This is the most trendiest sandwich in the world because one was an avocado sandwich with a pickle bun. I'm like, you don't get more trendy than that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. Also, that would be squishy.
Yeah, no, I don't. I wouldn't go for the avocado pickle, but I'd go for like a pickle with
Gabagool.
gabagool.
So squishy.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Apparently, the sisters on the Kardashian show are fuming at Kylie Jenner.
For what now?
Well, because she got the bag for the show. So the family was given $100 million to do this Hulu show, right? And I guess Kylie, who's one of the executive producers and a equal partner in it, is like refusing to do all the stuff. Like she's not talking about Timothée Chalamet on the show. She's dipping on a lot of stuff. And I guess on last night's episode, they were all supposed to go to Colorado and they were all on their private jet and their like puffy coats and everything. And then she, I guess, had some sort of anxiety attack and they had to turn the plane around on the tarmac, and then she left and didn't go on the family trip. So nothing was filmed with her through everything. So she just like took the bag and isn't a contributor really to the show. Right? Yeah. So yeah.
A boss move, lady.
Yeah, right?
Go on, do it.
Yeah.
Just for a couple of episodes.
Yeah. And then I guess Kim Kardashian was talking to Khloe, and they had disagreements on parenting, right? Where I guess Kim was talking about how Khloe never leaves the house and she's always with her kids, because I think Khloe was then talking about how Kim doesn't discipline her kids enough or whatever it was. But this is like some passive aggressiveness between sisters that to me seems too private to put on television.
It's like The Whale. The guy won't leave his house because he's, I'm Brandon Fraser. I'm just saying. I don't know why that came to mind.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I look like a whale. I'm like, what?
You don't realize that you sometimes have a stick up your and it's like sometimes you're like, God, she just needs.
Maybe.
Like you just
Who
need
knows?
to get away from your kids for a pure getaway, not dinner FaceTiming them, walking and showing them a house tour.
Like, talk about mom shaming. What the are you doing to me? It's just reverse mom shaming. You're shaming me for being a helicopter mom or whatever you want to call me. And you're claiming I'm shaming you for not being more of a strict parent.
You know what I mean? It seems like a little too private.
Listen, everything is filmed.
Yeah, I
And
know.
you need that drama for the show, right?
I guess. But to me, I don't know, it makes me uncomfortable when I watch that stuff. Like at least on the other shows, like what's the pump show that you guys watch?
Vanderpump.
Yeah, at least on that, everything seems staged, right? Like everything seems manipulated.
Like the
in a way.
conversations at dinner.
It is, but it isn't.
Yes. Yeah, like everything is like
producers are
manipulated and
probably like,
staged.
"Yo, talk about
and
this
yes,
situation right
exactly. That's how those work, right? And on this, they do it to a certain extent, but like sometimes, like this is like
it gets a little too real.
Yeah, it gets a little too real for me. I don't know. I'm not really interested in that.
The Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Emma Roberts, whose aunt is Julia Roberts, whose father is Eric Roberts, was doing a podcast talking about everybody likes to call somebody a nepo baby, a nepotism baby, where you got your start because of your parents and only your parents. And so she has some thoughts about that.
People definitely have preconceived notions of you. I think there's two sides of the coin. You know, people like to say, oh, you know, you have a leg up because you're a family in the industry. But then the other side to that is, you know, you have to prove yourself more.
Yes.
Or also, if people don't have good experience maybe with other people in your family, then you'll never get the chance.
That's true.
And also, I think there's something to be said where everybody loves the kind of overnight success story. And so if you're kind of not the girl from the middle of nowhere that broke into Hollywood, you know, there's kind of an eye roll of like, well, your dad was this. And I always joke, I'm like, why is no one calling out George Clooney for being a nepo baby? Rosemary Clooney was an icon.
Right.
But, like,
Very true.
I'm just kidding. But I feel like also the point is like young girls, I feel like get it harder.
I agree.
With the like
everything.
With the nepo baby thing. Like I don't really see people calling out you know, sons of famous actors. Not that they should be called out. I don't think anyone should be called out for wanting to follow their dream.
I mean, it's
a good point, though.
She does, yes. You have to prove yourself. Like, you can't suck. Like, you have to actually be good. But Emma Roberts made her acting debut at the age of 10 in a Johnny Depp movie.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not like she went through, like, the commercials and all this other stuff, right? Like,
she was already with a superstar.
Yeah.
George Clooney got his start on Roseanne as the factory boss.
No, George Clooney was on Another World. He was a soap opera actor.
Oh, I remember him from Roseanne.
He was grinding it out on the soap operas.
Sorry, before that, Golden Girls. He was also on Golden Girls.
Wasn't George Clooney also on The Facts of Life?
I don't know. I remember him from Golden Girls.
Okay, you're right. He started on it was
ER.
ER. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Roz and Mocha Show podcast.
Catch the guys live
Weekday mornings from 6 to 10
on Kiss 92.5.
Kiss925.com.
Or download the Kiss 92.5 app.